All right, in this video, I want to share two giant success stories going back in the past, from a caddy to the number one man, and then also from an unknown technology called a fax machine to then becoming this massive fax enterprise that everybody even knows, and how it happened. So first was a personal friend of mine, actually. I had on this channel here a number of years ago called Brett C. Banify. I've had him on a bunch of times. And one of the first times he came on this channel, he shared the story of his father, Al Banify, and the story of the fax machine. Now, if you're from my age, fax machine's something that's even still used today. It's not as common, but it's still used and it's valuable. But for the new age people, back in the day, there was a thing called a fax machine. And in the 70s, 80s, and even into the 90s, it was a huge deal. But it wasn't until 1964 that Xerox really kind of made it commercial. And then shortly thereafter, one of the first distribution companies came out there with an unknown concept that there were no users for, and went door to door and started selling a fax machine to people who couldn't fax anybody. Think about how hard that would be. You're selling a fax machine. Who do I fax? Well, nobody. Nobody had it yet. It was just catching on. But you could fax like one person, maybe if you knew one other person that had it. But it started, and that was Al Banify. That was Brett's dad, who I met, and he inspired me to this story, to think that like the amount of persistence that he had, just going door to door, starting to sell that fax machine to people who didn't have anyone to fax it to. It's very similar to where we're at right now in the world of Bitcoin. Nobody really, we're way more advanced, but think about it. Like, very few people are using the technology the way it was designed to. And those who are using it are few and far between, or even understand it. Kind of like the fax machine. Once people had it, they loved to send faxes back and forth. But it was getting it in their hand, wrapping their mind around it. How would they even do that? The other one is the number one guy right now in public service. And this guy is now freaking basically in charge of all federal government employees nationwide. He is the chief operating officer over all federal employees. Number one guy. Never went to college. I don't know if he graduated high school. He might have, but it definitely wasn't what got him in. It was in 1990 at a golfing event where he was handpicked as a caddy. It was up in Westchester County Golf Course in New York, 1990. And he was a 16-year-old caddy who knew the principle of that Ralph Waldo Emerson talked about, of doing the thing that ought to be done without being told to do it, taking the initiative, adding value, being there, doing what ought to be done without being told to do it. It's a habit of initiative, and it's just a beautiful habit when you start to cultivate it, and you're around somebody who's cultivated that attitude and that habit. That person, Dan Scavino in this case, rose straight to the freaking top with no education, no connections, no money, just the habit of initiative and being in the right place at the right time. He became Donald Trump's caddy in 1990, and then excelled more and more until he became his right-hand man, now in charge of the entire federal government, over all offices, hiring and firing. And he's as high as it gets. He's right there on Air Force One everywhere, travels with President Trump everywhere he goes. And he's a multi mega rich millionaire for sure. At least that's what I've heard. I verified it, but he sure as hell seems like that. Happily married now. He recently got married. The guy's a true amazing success story. And so those are two success stories I wanted to share with people, because it's like where we are right now with having a wallet for the very first time, a wallet infrastructure, a vendor-neutral wallet infrastructure built on Bitcoin's base layer. We never had that before. What is it? Well, what is the fax machine? Where was the opportunity in the fax machine? It wasn't in Al Banify's building the fax machine. He didn't develop any code. He was a salesman. He had the ability of selling the technology to the enterprise, and that needed that problem solved. The enterprise needed to be able to send that picture or that text over to the other enterprise across town in writing instantly. That was a hugely valuable thing that he could provide them. Just the concept. And now, here we are. There's a lot of distractions. There's freaking all these AI things and lots of videos of distractions that people will miss on. But the few people that actually help resonate with what I'm saying here on this message, somebody is going to grasp the opportunity at hand, the real opportunity that I'm talking about. And the opportunity isn't about hodling. The opportunity is about getting your head around the idea, around the concept, around the base layer protocol, and then solving real world problems like Dan Scavino did, or he took the initiative of providing service, or like Al Banify did with the fax machine. He just sold that. He created a distribution outlet, a consulting agency, a sales company to sell and distribute fax machines to the world. Became mega rich by doing it. That's where we are at right now. Somebody's going to build a company. There's going to be lots of them. And there'll be a lot of cool, major, big inventions too, like developing ideas. And I encourage people to do that. But I think the fastest way people are going to get mega rich is going to be by learning first. And then once you have a little bit of learning, enough understanding of where the opportunity is, you're then going to be able to sell it to the enterprise, just like Al did with the fax machine. Because the enterprise needs distributed ledger technology. The businesses need it. I was on a call yesterday with a big group of people on X, and people were talking about the opportunity. Vince was talking about the opportunity for merchants, small businesses. It's like there is a big opportunity for them, but it's not in the way you think. The opportunity is going to be coming from the people who really see the value in distributed ledger technology, Bitcoin technology, about using a blockchain, and paying you, who I'm talking to, paying you to show them how the hell it works and what's in it for them. I know that sounds crazy. You're like, Bitcoin, really? Don't I just buy and hold it? No, dude. It has nothing to do with that. The real opportunity is not in holding something. The real opportunity is in developing the skill set that is going to be priceless, that everyone is going to need going forward into this new IPv6 world, all on chain. Well, not all on chain, but a more of an on chain reality. IPv6 with more internet layer, with more web addresses, an abundance mindset. And I was on a call this morning with Elle and this blockchain group, which is amazing, from London, and she pointed out a really good point, which I want to share here, back to Dan Scavino and President Trump, and that was that like the coming of President Trump into the White House was like an abundance, a bringing of someone in true and massive abundance. A signal of abundance to America. America being massively free and massively abundant. We have a representation of that now. And so we want to embrace that. And we embrace that, mentally, but also like by adding value. And we can add value right now in the biggest way by getting a little bit of education just on how this protocol works. There's a ton of websites. I don't want to just drive traffic to websites right now. So I'm just saying, just stay tuned on this channel. I'm going to keep posting stuff. I wanted to give a couple of other updates. I got a massive amount of content right now to upload. And so I'm just going to be uploading stuff on a regular basis as much as I can. I already have uploaded so much, and there's like, anyways, I have so much content that it's a little overwhelming, but I still want to be posting regular content like this to kind of like, anyways, like this as well. And I don't want to get just overwhelmed by all this other content, because I have incredible shows that I did in London, and stuff with Kurt and other people talks that I did or recorded that are really important that I'm going to be posting. So stay tuned for those. I just want to update you guys on that. And it's all shot on it looks like it's on a 4K camera. On my camera, I think it's 4K. Honestly, I got a new camera. I'm not really too sure exactly how it works, but I got the film. I uploaded the first one. It's going to come out shortly, so you'll see how it looks. And you could see that I'm one of the worst photographers in the world. So you could see if it starts off really poor, then that's me doing it. If I'm on the camera, then it was somebody else filming it. So forgive me for that. But I think it gets better over time on the other ones as I'm getting used to it. But I think the audio came out really good. There's some really good audio with these audio microphones that I have on some. Some of them, terrible because of user error on my part. But the equipment was good. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. There is going to be a hackathon in January. So if people are interested in doing a big meetup in person, for sure it's going to be in Boulder, Colorado. I'm going to that. And so stay tuned for more information on that. And you want to just freaking build a business. You want to win. There'll be prize money as well for that. But I mean, I had a call today, and there's going to be, I'm going to be encouraging some serious, what I'm going to be doing, encouraging with this hackathon idea about this, kind of evolving from where I'm starting this video with this fax machine, saying people that go to this event, what I want to do is I want to bring a group of investors, VC investors, to the event, and then have the winner get introduced to all these investors. The investors are looking for the next big thing to invest in technology, next big startup that nobody else knows about. That's what they're looking for. And so I'd like to bridge that gap together with investors, entrepreneurs at the hackathon, where it's not just a business opportunity, but it's also where you could win money, but you actually have a very serious springboard call to action on a startup. That's something that's super exciting. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to be posting more content about that as well. All right. Yeah, dude. It's a great day. Hopefully my glare is kind of hanging in there okay. But yeah, Dan Scavino started out as a caddy, 1990, rose straight to the top, to the number one person in the United States government, to the president. I mean, other than an elected office like VP, but I'm saying over control, he runs the whole federal government, hiring and firing. Dan Scavino. And then Al Banfe, the fax distribution over the Xerox fax machine. When it came out, it wasn't Xerox that distributed the whole thing. It was his company that started, this company started distributing because he understood it. He started selling the value add to all these enterprises, and the enterprises began adopting the technology. Fax machine, it became from one small, impossible problem to another. And then all of a sudden it just exploded. So yeah, I'll post the video I hear at the end with Brett. You could watch it, where he goes through the whole story about his dad and the fax machine. You could check it out at the end. All right, hit the ones. I'll see you at the top.